slides of his liver biopsy to them, so they can review it as well. So it shows that he's got inflammation, he's got fibrosis. They don't really quantify it, but I think that, so I'm just going to send it, to the liver center. They're the experts. I'll have them review the pathology. The other question, I guess, with him, there's no problems with his eyes, his heart, with his lungs, nothing like that. Everything else has been fine. It's just been his liver. And so, so do you guys have a preference then? I think.
Well, I mean, if you say that he's only in there for a week and he recovers, and you know, we can drive back and forth a lot easier from Vallejo to the city, you know, and we don't have to stay there, right?
Right.
Because they're going to take good care of him.
I think both centers are great. I trained at Stanford.
Right.
So I have a little bit of a partial preference to that.
Well, I'm from San Jose,
are
so
you? Okay.
Camp I love.
Yeah. And so, but you know, I think UCSF is great. Dr. Rosenthal is like the big liver guru there, and he's like quite a character, but he is super, super smart. And so he would kind of take charge of dealing with his transplant kind of liver issues at that point. I would be definitely involved, kind of as one of the main players and everything, but he would kind of be guiding me even, especially when we get to some of those later stages and things as to how we're going to be dealing with it. Some of those later stages do require, this is where I was going with all that. To answer your question about like how long we'd have to stay in the hospital, sometimes when kids do get sick, they do end up having to be in the hospital. We can do some of that here at Kaiser. You know, I trained at a liver place. I'm really, really comfortable with this type of stuff. So some of the stuff we could do here in Oakland, so you don't have to go to the city all the time. But if there's something that I ever say, like, you know what, it's a little bit, I'm uncomfortable, I'll be the first person to say we should send them over to UCSF. So at that point, there may be certain times where you guys are at UC for a longer period of time. I just don't know. I can't predict that.
Because, you know, it was really hard for us when we were here, or across the street, for a week when he had the Kasai. I mean, it was just the arrangements and the way they set it up and stuff like that. I mean, it was absolutely terrible.
Okay.
And so...
Were you guys in one of the triple rooms? Is that...
oh my gosh. With just one chair and standing up the whole time, and you can't have a crib and a bed, and you can't have this, and it's dirty, and the water trickles, and I couldn't take a shower. I mean, yeah, it's not about me. It's about the best care for him. I understand that, but I couldn't leave him. And I had just had him, and, you know, I had a C-section, and it was just, you know, and... Who wants to leave their child?
I assume they don't have to make a decision on that.
Right well, now, actually, I am going to make the referral today.
Okay.
So you guys will get to know me really well in the next few months here. But I'm really conservative about certain things. I like to see more labs. I like to kind of play the safer end of things always. So I tend to send kids even early sometimes to the transplant center just so they know you guys, and so that if something ever turns like bad, then they'll know who you are and they can just deal with it. I just
want him to have a new liver, just like Dr. Chung said. Sometimes he doesn't even like doing the Kasai.
Yeah, exactly, because a lot of them don't do well.
Exactly.
And so I think, you know, we see this all the time. Like I think I saw just one other kid today with the same thing, and so I think, you know, we see this all the time, and you know, we're prepared to deal with stuff. But I do want him just to meet the team somewhere.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree.
Just so we can get things moving.
Yeah.
One of the other things I was going to suggest to you guys is to go. Sorry, he's adorable. He's so cute. To get an ultrasound
Okay.
Just to check and see if there's fluid. I know that Dr. Martin did the x-ray, but the x-ray is really not useful for that.
Okay.
So I think the ultrasound is going to be better just to get that done.
Good.
And then I want to
he's
check
distended, you know.
Yeah, I can see that from here. And some of that may be just, post-surgical stuff,
Right.
but I think that we should probably just take a quick look.
I'm thinking, I don't know. Depending on everything, I'm leaning more towards Stanford. I mean, just because they have the Ronald McDonald House, and I don't know.
I'm sure. I feel like Stanford's. I don't know the answer to this. This is why I'm not saying anything. I don't know.
I looked on the Stanford website.
Yeah, they have. Stanford definitely does. I don't know.
Have,
UCSF must. I'm just gonna Google it and see if they have some kind of housing arrangements. They must. Like.
I guess it doesn't matter. The closer the better, right?
I think
it really does boil down to the surgeons, and
the surgeons are great at both places. I think
Dr. Chung's all about Stanford too.
Is he? I think I talked him into it. I can't tell for you. I'm sure they have something through UCSF. I mean, it's UCSF.
Yeah.
They must have something for housing for you guys.
Okay.
And I unfortunately our facilities here aren't great, which is why we're building the new hospital.
Oh gosh, I know. Are they
so
better in
they're going to be
San
private
Francisco?
rooms. Everything's going to be private.
In San Francisco?
Oh, no. In San Francisco, I don't know. I think they do have many private rooms. I don't know if all of them are private rooms. I can only apologize.
Because in Stanford there is.
Stanford, they're also mixed. So some are private, some are not.
Okay.
There's no triple rooms, but there are doubles for sure.
Okay. It's just.
But really the facilities at both places are better than what we have.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I mean, that's just,
Yeah.
Let's do UCSF.
And so I am
What do
going
you
to.
think, Dickie?
I think I'm like you. We had kind of heard Stanford,
Yes.
and USF. This is the first time that's been thrown at us. I think
Oh,
he
I'm
did a lot
sorry.
of research
Okay.
at Stanford and about Stanford, and he was, like you said, he was all about Stanford too.
Right.
So
Yeah.
now it's kind of like, at this point, I don't really know. I'm sure the doctors are adequate. Or
Absolutely.
great
They've been around
guys.
forever, and Dr.
Yeah.
Rosenthal is really one of the key players. And they actually all used to work together too, way back in the day. And then they just have their separate groups now.
I don't know, something's telling me Stanford.
Then I would go with that.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah,
mom,
go with
so I
Stanford.
know.
I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, go
You
with
guys
Stanford.
are-
I think she was much more prepared for Stanford.
I
Okay.
was, and I
Okay.
was prepared to,
Yeah.
be there, and, I was
Okay.
just prepared.
That's fine.
Parking's easier.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Yeah, driving to the city,
Just
through
kidding.
the bridge, the
All right.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and do Stanford.
Can I ask a general question on liver?
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of misinformation. I don't really know the answer either.
Okay.
If somebody in the family does donate,
Yep.
they can only take They can only take part of the lobe,
Right.
or the small part of the
Right.
lobe of it.
Yeah.
Is there regeneration of the liver in adults?
Yes.
Yes.
It does regenerate.
It does regrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
in 6 weeks.
I have a question
right?
also.
Timing is variable, but it definitely does regrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a
Yes.
question.
Uh-huh.
So they take a lobe from Wes or whoever,
Uh-huh.
they put it in him.
Yep.
How does it know to grow to an infant-sized heart, or how does it? Will it stop growing at the size the infant's liver should be, or will it just keep going?
It'll readjust to his body.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's
Okay.
lots of other, there's all these
It's
hormones
amazing.
and there's all these different things in your body that are telling your body how to grow and what to do. And so it's not just that the liver itself has its own brain, I guess.
Right.
There's everything's all intertwined,
Okay.
and so everything works together, and their liver will kind of it'll grow according to his growth pattern.
And again, you don't take just a part of the
It's
liver,
a
it's the
lobe.
whole lobe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Upper, lower.
And sometimes they do cut it, kind of down the middle, depending on his size and all of that, and the size of the liver that he's getting. And those can have some more complications associated with them, as far as increased risk of infection, leaks, and whatnot. But
And it's about 6 weeks. It's 1 week in the hospital for the donor, right? 5 days. And
that can also vary.
Okay, that can
So
vary too.
the one thing that people do kind of underestimate is how hard it is on the donor, because that can be a little bit difficult also. So I think that